No, I want to go, welcome to the Blunt and the Beautiful, where society comes to be dissected.
Don't hit the C on comes like that.
Welcome to the Blunt and the Beautiful, where I discuss everything that interests me and everything that should interest you with my beautiful daughter, Tansy.
And I listen and tell her when she's wrong.
This episode is sponsored by Saint Somebody, the Australian luxury swim and resort wear label that designs for women in sizes 8 to 28.
Everything is made slowly and thoughtfully, using recycled fabrics where possible and with beautiful fits that feel incredible to wear.
So if you want pieces that last, feel good, and make you feel like your best self, check out Saint Somebody. We love them and we are so happy to have them on the show. Welcome to Blunt and the Beautiful. I'm Kate Forster, and my co-host today and every other day is Tansy Gorman.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be back.
Now, I would like to welcome a special guest to the Blunt and the Beautiful. One of my favourite designers are Miss Sophie Henderson-Smart. I wanted to get that right.
It's a mouthful.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a mouthful.
You can't forget the smart bit.
No, you can't, because you are very smart. And we're going to talk today about something that women dread, and we're going to try and put it in a positive light. That is shopping for bathers.
Yes, you're right. Dread is definitely the word. We all dread the swimsuit season, or we've been sort of conditioned to, unfortunately, hate that part. And I think that the reality is it is fair because we're the most naked we're ever going to be in public in a swimsuit. So we're clearly going to be.
Do you remember our fight once at a swimsuit
At the
shop?
swimwear galore on the highway.
Yeah. Yeah, it was apocalyptical.
It was.
Your self-hate was at 1,000.
Because I was 14, mind you, and also got boobs really early and quite big, not to brag. They're out today. Surprise. YouTube watchers, please enjoy. And we went in and tried to find bathers that weren't like, I don't know, I want to say mother of the bride bathers, but I'm not sure what that event is. Mumsy, monobooby, you know. And I wanted to look cute and I wanted to look 14, 15.
Yes.
But I also needed them to fit my boobs, and it was so hard to find anything. And Mum was trying her best to find stuff, but everything she picked up, I was like, you are sabotaging me with your ugly, ugly choices.
They were like the ruching minimizer,
clearly
the miracle suit.
Oh,
yeah, there was all
the
the miracle suit.
And I was like, I'm going to look like I'm covering a C-section in year 9. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I don't want the tummy control. Stop making me have it all the time. So we had a in a shop screaming fight, which is crazy.
Well, I think it's a couple of things, and this episode has been asked for. How do I shop for bathers and not feel like complete shit? How do I be positive about my body in all different sizes? Now, you size from what, size 8?
Yeah, size 8 to 28. So 11 sizes, which is a lot, but and has its challenges. But you know, I think the main thing is we don't sample in a size 8,
right?
Like most swimwear brands, and then just make it bigger.
Right.
We sample size 16, and then we sort of consider how to make it bigger from there and scale down. Yeah.
So what made you, swimwear is you know, confronting and emotional for some people, and what made you decide to move into swimwear as a design for you?
Yeah, so it was actually just a family holiday that we were going on. We saved our pennies and we're taking the boys to Italy on a summer holiday, and it was all very exciting. And I said to my husband, look, I've got a drawer full of ill-fitting, sort of see-through old swimsuits that, I'm going to treat myself and even if I have to splurge a bit more, I'm happy to try and find something that was stylish, fit well, and fit my size 16 body. And I looked, obviously in Australia I knew it would be challenging, but then I went beyond. I looked in America and Europe online and could not find one swimsuit to buy,
Wow.
which, you know, I just kind of wasn't surprised, but I was more surprised with the options overseas as well, that there was just nothing available. So I just sort of thought, well, you know, if no one's going to do it, then I guess it's got to be me.
Well, it's that funny.
Beautiful.
Do they think that people over a size 12 don't swim?
No, they're not allowed. They have to be too ashamed of their body. They're not allowed to take their clothes off.
But that's the message. That's what you feel,
That's
though,
what you feel.
right?
Yeah,
when you see, oh yes, well we stock that style up to a 14, but then if you're bigger than that, it's onto the ruffles and the you know, the miracle suits.
Yeah, I've told the story before on my TikTok, but years ago we were in Vanuatu and we were hanging out by the pool. My kids were little and there was a woman there and she would have been a size 24, 26 and she had her bathers but she had a moo thing on and I was watching her and her kids kept going, Mum, come in the pool, come in the pool. Now, I think I was at 16 at the time and I went over, I said, I'm hopping in, do you want to come in? And she kind of looked at me and I said, no one's looking at you. And she went, really? And I went, yeah, come on. We went and got in the pool and were swimming around. And then my child decided to announce that he'd just done a poo in the pool. And I looked at her, I said, see, no one is looking at you. They're looking at me.
Yeah.
Yes.
The mother of the child
who's just had to do a code brown in the pool.
Yeah.
So really, you know, and I said this earlier this year, go for a swim.
Yeah. You're right. Everyone needs a you to kind of coach them to get in. And I think everyone thinks they are people are looking at them. But do you know what? Everyone's so worried about people looking at them that they're not looking at anybody else.
No, they're not.
It doesn't matter what size you are. You know, even I've got friends who are size 8 and 10 who feel very self-conscious at the beach. So I think it's, you know.
And it's such a shame.
Oh, it is.
Have a swim.
Yeah.
Have a swim in the beach.
Enjoy the sun. Yeah. Have a frolic. Everyone deserves to have a roll around.
And it's so odd to me that I would look at, like, I might look at someone at the beach and go, I like her bathers.
That's the thing. I
like
break it down like that.
Yeah. I don't look at
definitely stalking people.
So, you know, I grew up.
Don't moralize people, other strangers' bodies. It feels like a very odd thing to do is to look at it, someone that I don't know or anyone I do know and be like, bad body, good body. Like there's no value judgment. No. Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with the kind of idea that Bridget Jones was supposed to be fat.
What a fucking lie.
Or
Kate Winslet.
Yeah, yeah. Or, yeah, Kate Winslet in Titanic.
Yeah. So she's so brave, you know.
Brave. Do you think we've made progress in our body? Sort of assumptions, or is there still the same pressure? I know the rise of anorexia talk is back.
Look, sadly, I really want to keep it positive too, but I don't actually think as a society we've changed much. I think maybe what's changed is that new generations are saying, well, you know, we might be a fat phobic society, but, you know, I'm going to go against that. I don't care, you know, and I'm going to wear what I want and I'm going to do that. I think that has helped a lot because then there's more visibility. You go to the beach, you see a lot, you know, especially in smaller swimsuits like string bikinis, for example. Once upon a time, there would be one type of body in that type of swimsuit, but now you see all types, and I think that's good.
What do you think of the body positivity movement in terms of, you know, the criticism is that someone's very, very overweight and their health is suffering, and people are then criticizing them and say you're not healthy. I mean, you shouldn't be commenting on people's health, let alone their weight. But and now Ozempic. So are there going to be any fat people left in the world? You know, what's your opinion around that?
Oh, look, I just think, you know, the GLP-1s, the body positivity, all this stuff. I think it's so personal. You know, like that is so personal to each person, and I don't think. Yeah, as you say, we shouldn't be, we just, in a perfect world, not be judging, not be commenting, not be, criticizing people's bodies for whatever reason, because we can see that it's not necessarily about being fat. It's about, it's just because there are people who are fat who are taking GLP-1s who lose weight and then they're criticized for that as well.
Yeah, I know. That's what kind of spins me out.
Well, like, to go back to your example before, Mum, of say someone who is, fat and online and happy with their life and happy and doing their own thing, and people being like, how dare you be fat and happy? Which I
Yeah.
was like, famously, fat people are very jolly. So I'm not really sure what your problem is. But
Santa.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can't have a skinny, jolly person. It's like physically impossible. And so I'm like, I just don't understand why they see a fat person doing anything online and they're like, how dare you enjoy your life?
Yeah.
Even if this person is, I don't know, doing all of the things they need to do to maintain their own healthy lifestyle. And again, that's a personal thing. Health is a
But
personal
that's
thing.
the failure of the BMI. I mean,
Yeah.
people keep talking about BMIs. It's a broken measurement. It's a broken concept.
And it certainly doesn't work for women.
No.
It's for not straight. It's got nothing to do with sexuality. Sorry, that's just what me and my soapbox. Sorry, straighties.
It's a straight man invented.
Yeah, it's for white men. That's the body type that it measures.
Yeah. And they still use it.
Yeah,
you know,
they do.
Yeah.
Mate, you do it all through school.
And there was that American athlete who was told that her BMI was too high, and she's a gold medalist.
Yeah.
You know, I'm one of those kind of big bone Taurus ladies, the big bone group. And I go to the doctor, I've got perfect cholesterol, perfect everything, except for my iron. But everything else.
But that's a very thin thing to have, is low iron. So good on you, I guess.
But I'm like, and I say to my doctor, obviously I've been trying to get healthier. So a big one for me was lifting weights. Over 50, you have to do some weight stuff. Less cardio, less pressure on your knees, more weights. But that, to me, being strong is more important than being a size 8. But that's just my personal opinion. The Victoria's Secret show just happened.
Yes.
And they had Ashley Graham.
Yes.
And people, I saw a TikTok of a girl saying people criticizing Ashley Graham. And she was like, you wish you had her face card.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
she is so beautiful.
But the thing with criticizing Ashley Graham, within the spectrum of, the spectrum of fatness, this idea of, Ashley Graham is what would be seen as like a small fat.
Yeah.
She is actually quite
And she
small.
gets criticized for that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So people from fat spaces are like, she's basically straight sized.
Yeah, she's got a flat stomach and, she's not
a very palatable.
Yeah.
And then other people, are like, ginormo monster from the other side, and you're like, she's kind of screwed either way.
100%. I think we all are.
Exactly.
The fat phobia is real though. So when I started on TikTok, and I used to criticize brands for not giving other sizing, getting rid of the 20, not extending the sizing, and people were saying get over it, and I'm like, the fat phobia in other straight size women is massive, because if there was no clothes for you, that's all we'd hear about.
Absolutely. And how do you know that you're not going to have a change of circumstances at any point and put on weight? Weight fluctuates. That's the whole idea of it, is that it goes up and it goes down. And so at some point, if you're knocking up the edge of a 16 and you're not able to get jeans anywhere in brick and mortar stores, I think you're going to have
there'll be petitions started. The
change.org.
I think, unfortunately, the conditioning that from birth, that fat is bad and thin is good, is just so ingrained in absolutely everything, everywhere we go, movies, TV, social media. It's very, very hard to, with the movement, body positive, like all these things, it's going to be very, very hard to undo all of that.
I wanted you, Terns, to talk about the idea that a fat phobia is actually based in racism.
Well, there's a book about this that I can't remember the name of right now because it's late in the afternoon, but we'll link it in the show notes. There's a book that talks about this kind of colonization and homogenization of body, as well as like everything that was colonized in the world, and that this idea of fat phobia, before colonization kind of really kicked off in the West, fat was seen as plentiful. It was seen as abundant. It was seen as being of a higher class because you don't need to work and you have food, and it was all of these things that were seen as kind of a net positive. As the kind of, I don't know, the UK in particular colonized the rest of the world and was introduced to different body types, fatness, particularly in women, was started to be demonized, as it was seen as akin to bodies from different races and ethno
So
groups.
thin, like boobs and hips.
Boobs,
and bum.
hips, bums, thighs, arms, like just kind of curve, right? And severe proportions that are seen kind of primarily in African American or African bodies, as we can see with people now running to get a BBL to try and recreate those body types. So this fat phobia is so rooted in race, and it's so rooted in colonization. And I understand that it's so insidious that so many people can't get out of it. Because it is what we are taught from a very young age, and that when you minimize and make yourself smaller, you are good, you are being better. We were talking to someone earlier today who was talking about, when you're little and you take up even less space, and you're a girl in particular, people are like, you're such a good girl, because you're not interrupting the space you're in.
But it's true, if you look at the Edwardian silhouette pre that, if you go and look at photos from 1600s and then you go into the 17 and you start to see the silhouettes change,
the bustles
of having sort of not wanting to show off curves, and I think for men too, that men get shamed in liking women who have curves.
Well, it's puritanical bullshit, right? So it's this idea that, and I'm sure everyone has different types and wants different things and is sexually or physically attracted to different things. But I think, you know this growing up curvy, as soon as you have boobs, you're sexualized. Even if you're wearing what all your friends are wearing, particularly at somewhere like the beach or the pool, in your bathers, you're wearing the same bathers as everyone else. And everyone's like, why have you got your boobs out? And you're like, I don't have them.
I don't know.
They're just existing.
They just have them.
Today's episode is brought to you by Saint Somebody, which many of you know that I already love. They are an Australian women-led luxury swimwear and resort wear label, and they actually design for women with curves.
Their pieces are made from size 8 to size 28, and the fit is truly beautiful. You can feel the care in every stitch.
And what I love most about the brand is everything is made very thoughtfully, very slowly, and in small batches. They use recycled fabrics where possible, water-based inks, sustainable linen, and they genuinely look after the people that make their garments.
It's luxury but with a conscience. You can feel good in their items and feel good about where it came from.
So Saint Somebody was founded by Sophie Henderson-Smart, who created the label because she believed that luxury fashion should work for all women, not just one body type.
And honestly, it shows. The pieces make you feel confident, comfortable, and ready to walk into summer like you own the beach.
So if you want swimwear that fits beautifully and actually lasts, or resort wear that makes you feel like the main character in one of my books, then have a look at Saint Somebody. They are sponsoring today's episode, and we just adore them for it. So when you go to design, because one of the criticisms that happens with extending sizes is, you've got to do a proper fit. And so how hard is it if you start on a 16 and you take a piece of clothing and then you have to make it smaller or larger? How hard is that process as a designer?
Look, it's not necessarily hard. It's just more expensive.
Right.
So it just requires more work, which is probably why a lot of you see the fast fashion brands and things like that just doing a quick sort of, grading up and sticking with that. But I think smaller brands who can take the time, I manufacture in a small facility with a small group of really talented people, and we can take the time to actually alter. It depends on the style, but some from a 16 to say like a 28, you're going to see some changes, because otherwise it's just a centimetre bigger. That's all that they do is just add a centimetre everywhere, and that doesn't always work.
So grab that green. If you're on YouTube, you'll love this. If not, go and watch it on the Spotify or the YouTube. Talk me through, I love that one.
Do you want me to hold it?
So talk me through the fit on this and why it's different, because it is luxury swimwear, but you won't regret it, because I love them.
So this one in particular is great because it's seamless. So you can the seams are invisible.
Yeah.
all the way around. So what that does is it just holds everything in, but it sits nicely on the body. So like on the rear, for example, it means you've got a little bit more flexibility with sizing.
Okay.
So, we all know that feeling of having something that's got the really sort of thick edge seam, especially on the rear.
You get
And
the
it can
double
just sort of
bum.
cut in. So that's why we do these. Again, this manufacturing style is, a little bit more costly because you're using 2 layers of swimwear fabric as opposed to
That's
lining.
really important because people go, I don't know why it costs so much. And
Yeah.
it's like, do you understand? This is physics.
Yes.
This is engineering. You've got to get, like, what's the bust support on that?
Yeah, so alternate inside out, we won't worry about the stickers, a bit ugly, but the bust support in this one,
Ooh, look at that.
one doesn't have underwire, but it has a very thick elastic, sort of like a sports bra type.
Yeah.
It's very thick and it's covered in the fabric, so it's soft and comfortable, but it will hold nicely. So we have customers who buy this who have still got a decent size bust. Some customers prefer no wire, or mothers who are feeding or pregnant. So this one is very soft, very comfortable to wear, but still supportive. It's got the boning on the side as well.
Oh,
beautiful.
So, and this is a complaint I have from people. How do I wash my bathers so they don't go see-through after being in the pool?
Oh, you mean like the chlorine eats away at it?
Yeah.
The best thing to do is just cold water,
Right.
and rinse them. Don't let them sit or anything like that. Like all the fabrics that we use are chlorine resistant. I mean, it's resistant, so it's not foolproof. But just cold water and then dry in the shade, and that's the best way to do it.
I think one of the things that I've really struggled with being, plus size is how ugly the fabrics are. And one of the things that I do love about your brand is that it is really on trend. And I think that's something that a lot of plus size people or brands forget, that I still want to, Tansy, I know you already would like that leopard print bathers.
Well, I've worn basically the bathers today accidentally. So here we are.
It's a rash.
Clearly they're on trend for me.
Yes, they're all on
I'll
trend
be
here.
popping on the website in a moment.
You're right, because that was one of my things, was that the only options that were available to me or women above a size 14 were florals. I mean, nothing against a floral, but just the prints were really over the top and just not modern and sophisticated. So yeah, I mean, the leopard print I did, I think, in like the second collection. And I've just kept it going because everyone just loves
What's
the
your
leopard.
most popular fabric? I mean, print or?
Yeah, I'd say the leopard is super popular. I'm also very fussy with leopard print, so I really wanted to take the
It is a
time
good leopard.
to make sure it is a good leopard. I will admit that as well.
What makes a bad leopard?
There's just some fugly leopard prints.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Well, it looks a bit like cartoony. I don't know how to describe it. It looks a bit like
just looks like a fake.
Yeah, like clip art. Like it just looks.
Yeah, that's the perfect description.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, that's bad. Okay.
Yeah,
but this one's very good.
But yeah, so and this style too with the contrast is definitely popular. I think people really like that look. It's sort of like a bit of a 90s sporty.
Yeah.
I know it's not exact, but it feels a bit Baywatch.
Yeah, especially the red. Yeah.
Very fun.
So when people are looking for bathers, what are some of the things that you would say they need to look for in terms of quality?
In terms of quality, I would say look for the quality of the lining. I mean, obviously, it depends on your budget.
Yeah.
But if you have, a healthy budget, then try and go for something that has a really decent lining, even the swimwear fabric like these, because you're just going to get, lining is quite thin and will wear a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So you're going to get, we don't necessarily want the shapewear, but the tummy control, but the 2 layers of swim fabric will kind of do that.
Just smooth.
And the other thing is probably just the quality of the bust area and that support, making sure that that's all done well.
That's something you've struggled with, is the bust support.
My life is struggling with bust support. Yeah. No, yeah. It is really hard because I am someone with proportionately a slightly smaller back to bust ratio.
Oh, yep.
And it means that something like a string bikini
Mm.
is going to put me in a neck brace.
Right,
like it
right.
just is too heavy. I
Yep.
can't do it.
Yep.
And so trying to find, supportive bathers that still look cute. I still feel fun and like, I don't know, young in.
Yeah.
But I also, I'm not like hurting myself
Mm.
or will lose a boob
Yep.
if I jump in the pool, which is, the other consideration that you don't flash everyone.
No.
Do you
no,
think that you've seen better attitudes from women towards themselves from wearing a really good bather? Because if you feel shit in bathers, then you're wearing the wrong bathers. That's my theory.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, I've had, speaking from experience, I've had messages from women, thanking me and telling me that they've not been in the water for 10 years.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
which just is heartbreaking. But, they go to the beach fully dressed with their kids and now, it's and it's sort of, it's so amazing to hear, but and that's really what drives me, is that stuff.
Yeah, because that kind of makes me sad if you're not participating fully in your life because of your perceived body image or self-hatred on your body.
Yeah.
Then, and this is kind of why, you can go to a shopping mall and walk around and not find a shop that will kind of serve you or be there for you. And that's why whenever I promote brands with extended sizes, they go bananas because people tend to think, oh, well, I can only shop at these 3 shops. And I go, no. There's so many other shops. And that's my kind of thing is, and then they go and shop fast fashion because they can buy it online. And there's that shame factor that people still have. And I don't want anyone to feel that shame in a change room.
Yeah, fuck no.
I want to ask you about your community because you have created a very strong community and people will probably come back to you that this ain't somebody little cult. What is one of the most memorable stories that you've heard from?
Oh, look, I think, that's that woman who hadn't been in the water for 10 years, just that's probably stuck in my mind the most, and missing out on time with her kids. That's just heartbreaking. And she just sort of sent me this letter saying that she'd had, now found something that she felt confident in and comfortable and like she could run after the kids. And so I think because fashion is so powerful, it can be, and it's, it can be it's political as well in a way. Like it's sort of how you dress is how you want the world to view you. And I think by having something that you feel comfortable in and you can be yourself is so powerful.
When people listen to their brands,
yes,
when someone extends a size or someone adjusts something, it's very, very powerful. Have you had feedback that you've changed things from customers?
Like changed designs or yeah, definitely.
Right.
Oh, definitely. Like, I mean, if it's one comment, probably not, but if it's multiple saying something along the same lines,
that makes sense.
Yeah, then I'll definitely look into it and then sort of check the fitting and see what's happening, but for sure.
So if someone came to you tomorrow and said, Sophie, I want to start an inclusive underwear brand, I mean, what does inclusivity really look like in the fashion industry?
Yeah, look, it's a tricky one because, I think it's great to want to be everything to everybody.
Yeah.
But the reality is that that's really difficult. So I think if you're going to go into it, you need to be committed. If you're going to go into it with a size range, you've got to be committed to making sure that every size in that range is right.
Yeah, fitted properly.
Rather than going, oh, well, I'm just going to do this standard range and then I'll I'll make a couple of bigger ones, just so I can say that I do the whole
We're
range.
always
I feel like I keep
afterthought.
seeing that with like kind of drop shippers on TikTok
Yeah.
that are like, no, we go up to 3X. And you're like, it said the day you launched, it said you had 2 left in a 3X.
Yeah.
You ordered a couple of them to be like, no, we did it.
Yeah.
We're
no,
inclusive.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no,
very
it's definitely a
strange.
thing.
Yeah.
What happens with the inclusivity, diversity revolution when we have JLP ones and when we have, because it's like Tansy said, there were a lot of people because I said I'd been to a certain store and the clothes were beautiful, and someone said, why would you go to this store if the clothes don't fit you? And I said, because I
Right.
see viewing
remember
clothes
that.
as art,
Yeah.
And there were so many older women who said, you
Mm.
know what, I used to be a 10 when I was your age, babe. Now I'm a 20.
Right. Yeah.
Life happens.
Yes. Yep.
You
Yep.
know. And so how does inclusivity really look? I think it should be that I don't think you're meant to be one size forever either.
You're growing and changing. Your body is meant to shift, particularly for women. And
Mm.
there are a lot of men who kind of look the same from when they hit puberty until the day they die, right?
Yeah.
They're kind of, maybe they get a little more of a tummy and it comes and it goes. But when we think about what women's bodies go through in their life, and whether they choose to have children or not is kind of almost regardless as well, with hormones and changing and aging, and I don't know, the way our bodies shift and the shape shifts. You're always going to be changing shapes.
Yep.
You're always going to be changing sizes.
And when do we become happy with it? Because I go back and look at photos of myself when I was younger and think, God, I wish I was as skinny as I was then when I thought I was fat.
I think we've all done that.
Oh, yeah.
It's so bad.
But again, why do we equate, this is bad?
Worth.
But I think when you can't feel good in what you're wearing because there are no options, then that just sort of hammers home the fat is bad message.
Yeah. And
because
even though
fat is
you're
not
trying
dressed.
really hard to not believe it, it's like, I'm going to an event or I need to find a gown or whatever. And you just, it's stressful.
And it's conditioning. I grew up with a mum on a grapefruit diet and a candid tab.
Yeah.
I did the hip and thighs, Sarah Ferguson diet. I mean, I've been on diets my whole fucking life trying to get smaller.
Yeah.
And I think about how much time and did it change anything? No, I still got married. I still found a bloke who thought I was fun, had babies. Like it didn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. But it's just and I think sometimes it takes a doctor or a therapist or somebody to say, it's okay. That's how you are and that's okay.
Yeah, you're strong. And, I'm all about strength post 30. I mean, post 50. Fuck, I wish.
31 this year, are you, love?
Yeah. No, but I'm all about being strong.
Yeah.
Being strong is so important, And the real message for me here and why I wanted you on is that everybody is a beach body.
Yes.
If you put it in bathers and take it to the beach, that's a beach body, baby.
100%. Yeah.
And if you're missing out on going in the pool or having a swim on a hot day, nothing is better than having a little, dip, a little dip.
Yeah.
Tansy and I make sure that we have a couple of beach swims every year.
Yeah.
It's like we need a swim.
There's nothing like it,
No.
bobbing around in the ocean and to me, it's like being back in the womb.
Absolutely.
It does something to you.
And I don't want people missing out on that.
No.
So if you want amazing bathers, please buy from Saint Somebody because that's my go-to. And Sophie, I am so pleased that you've been on today and it's such an important conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, you're a joy. Absolute joy.
All right, thanks guys. Boy.
Bye-bye.
I don't care what you say. I do it.